Naruto, God-level system author, Blue Water God. Chapter 31 Instantly defeated Uchiha Kaito. Xianchen laughed sarcastically. Shenluo dancing. The gravitational force just now disappeared, and a huge repulsive force gushes out with Xianchen as the center. After deliberately avoiding Mikoto, it collided with Uchiha Kaito. Originally galloping under the gravitational force, there is still a little distance, and Uchiha Kaito, who can stab Gu into Xianchen's body, is like being hit by a speeding train and flew out. The surrounding trees were split inch by inch, turning into splintered sawdust, flying in the sky. Puff! Uchiha Kaito was like a dead dog, lying miserably on the ground, blood flowing out continuously. Uchiha Mikoto was extremely shocked. Everything happened in just a few short breaths, and Uchiha Mikoto couldn't react at all. Sharingan, the people of the Uchiha family are probably here to kill us, Xianchen said lightly. Why? Uchiha Mikoto couldn't believe it. In the village, there were still people who assassinated her and Chen, and she was also a member of her original family. I have embarrassed the Uchiha clan before, and although you were expelled from the Uchiha family, in the eyes of the Uchiha family, you are a traitor who betrayed Uchiha, and they naturally want us to die. Xianchen explained to Mikoto aloud. Uchiha Karan got up with difficulty. The blow just now had already hurt his internal organs, and now he felt a burning pain when he took a breath. What kind of ninjutsu is this? Uchiha Karan asked aggrievedly. This kind of ninjutsu that does not require a seal, and can be used instantly, making him unfamiliar with it. He suffers a big loss. Don't ask so many dead people. Xianchen's expression was indifferent, and there was a deep chill in his eyes. It's just by surprise. You think you can really defeat me? You are beyond your own power. Resisting the injury, Uchiha Kaito's hands quickly formed seals. Fire escape, dragon fire technique. Looking at the dragon-shaped flame, Xianchen's hands quickly formed seals, and a huge water wall easily blocked the technique of the flaming dragon. Chen, you have to be careful. He is a famous strong man in the Uchiha family. Mikoto shouted worriedly. It was time to be too shocked, so I didn't look at the other party's appearance, but after seeing it now, Mikoto was taken aback. Mikoto still knew about the famous powerhouse of the Uchiha family. The strength of Uchiha Kaito is also the top among the Uchiha family. Mikoto did not expect that the Uchiha family would send such a strong person to deal with them. Although Mikoto knew Chen's strength for more than half a year, it was impossible for Mikoto not to worry about fighting against such a famous powerhouse. Don't worry. If I really want to kill him, it will only be a moment. Xianchen comforted the worried Mikoto. He was telling the truth. It was easy to solve an elite Junin who didn't know him well. Even a shadow-level powerhouse, Xianchen has the confidence to sneak to death, not to mention an elite Jonin. This is the first time for me to truly show my strength in front of others. I hope you can satisfy me. Light speed kick. Xianchen's calf turned into a photon, and then kicked out at the speed of light, with a thick golden flash that directly hit Uchiha Kaito. Boom. After a loud bang, Uchiha Kaito was blasted hundreds of meters away, breaking through an unknown number of trees. The speed of light kicked too fast. Uchiha Kaito just sensed the danger, and then instinctively protected himself with all his strength, but was still seriously injured and fell to the ground. As expected of an attack to destroy the island in one blow, if he exerts his full strength, this guy will have no bones left. Xianchen smashed his tongue. Comparing the glittering fruit and the thundering fruit, that is, the speed is flawed. Just walking in a straight line, the glittering fruit is not easy to turn, which is not as good as the thundering fruit that can teleport infinitely. Compared with the thunder fruit, the attack power is absolutely not bad at all, and the two fruits should be evenly matched. Although Xianchen has the space ability, it can be considered to make up for the defect of the sparkling fruit, but he is also very envious of the teleportation ability of the thundering fruit. However, these two fruits have a common nemesis, that is, the dark fruit. As the most dangerous devil fruit, the dark fruit is not unreasonable. Gravity is the enemy of everything, and even light cannot escape the pull of gravity. Xianchen is not very interested in this nemesis, which can be called all devil fruits. Xianchen, who has tensei eyes, really doesn't look down on the dark fruit. Going back to the topic, Xianchen's light speed kick directly deactivated Uchiha Kaito. Although he is not dead, in Xianchen's sight, he has lost his fighting power. Chen, you are so strong, Mikoto murmured. While feeling happy for Xianchen, he also felt a sense of inferiority. With such a powerful Chen, can I really match him? Mikoto asked herself in her heart. Afterwards, Mikoto became firm in her heart, and she must redouble her practice in the future. Even if she couldn't keep up with Chen's footsteps, she couldn't be pulled down too far. Mikoto, wait for me here, I'll go take a look. Xianchen said softly. He was going to kill someone next, and Xianchen didn't want Mikoto to see it. Mikoto nodded obediently, and then said softly, be careful, don't let anything happen. Don't worry. Xianchen chuckled, then turned into a ball of light and appeared in front of Uchiha Kai in the blink of an eye. In close movement, The glittering fruit is even better than the space ability. I didn't expect you to be such a powerful little brat. There's a lot of nonsense. Point to the bullet. Xianchen stretched out his 10 fingers and released light bullets one by one, similar to the ability of the corpse veins. Kaito Uchiha, who couldn't move, was beaten into a sieve on half of his body, leaving dozens of blood holes in his body. Uchiha Kaito screamed. Xianchen's attack deliberately avoided the key points of his body, so Uchiha Kaito was not dead, but he was not far from death. Even if Xianchen turned his head and left now, he could be killed by blood alone. Do you want to torture me, and then get information out? Don't even think about it. Uchiha Kaito, whose forehead was covered in cold sweat, looked at Xianchen with mocking eyes, and the three-goose jade writing wheel in his eyes turned frantically. Do you still want to resist? Struggle in vain. Xianchen's expression did not change at all when he looked directly at Sangui's writing wheel. Most of the illusions are ineffective for me. You should give up. Xianchen looked at Uchiha Kaito, who was still struggling, and said lightly, if you want Xianchen to recruit illusions, you must at least be at the level of Yuli. Chapter 32 Illusions, Terrorist Reincarnation Kaleidoscope Writing Wheel Eyes. Just kill me. Uchiha Kairon also accepted his fate. Anyway, he can't help Xianchen, so it is better to beg for death. I want to die. How can it be so easy? I wanted to use you to hone my fighting skills, but I didn't expect you to be such a waste, which made me very disappointed. Wouldn't it be a pity if you died worthless like this? Xianchen's expression was cold, and in his dazzling eyes like stars, it was extremely cold. Your Uchiha family is the best at illusion and fire escape. Come and try the illusion I created now. Magic and horror reincarnation. In an instant, Uchiha Kaito appeared in another dimension, and all the injuries on his body recovered, but the power no longer existed. Uchiha Kairon's face was ugly, and he knew that he had fallen into the illusion, but he could not perceive the existence of chakra, and he couldn't get out of the illusion by disrupting chakra. Could it be the illusion from Hitumi? Just as Uchiha Kai was puzzled, a figure approached behind him. Uchiha Kaito felt the chill in his body, and then turned his head quickly. His eyes turned white, a terrifying twisted look, a floating head, looking at him resentfully. Gigi, what the hell? Uchiha Kaito, who is used to seeing life and death, was really frightened. He had never seen such a terrifying thing before. It's just an appetizer, you can't take it anymore. Now the real horror cycle has just begun. A vicious voice came from the floating head. The scene continued to change. The horror movies Xianchen had watched were all shown here one by one. Each scene would have 10 reincarnations before entering the next scene. And every time the story ends, it ends with the death of Uchiha Kaito, and he tries all kinds of deaths again and again. Uchiha Kaito was in the illusion. I don't know how long it took, but it only happened for a second outside. Looking at Uchiha Kairon's rapidly turning writing wheel, Xianchen's face was full of anticipation. That's right. Because he didn't get combat experience, Xianchen fixed his eyes on Sharanyan. However, Xianchen does not despise Gu's writing wheel eyes, and wants to give birth to a kaleidoscope. As for whether it can be successful, it depends on the talent of this Uchiha Kairon. Seeing that this guy is only in his 20s, he is already an elite jonin. This talent should be good, but whether he can come up with a kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, Xianchen can only do his best and obey the destiny. For this reason, Xianchen also used the illusion that he used his brain cells to study for half a year as a 500 shadow clone, combined with Xianchen's knowledge. This illusion was created to supplement one's own deficiencies. It was very powerful. It was definitely an S-level illusion, and even the monthly reading might not be comparable. The terrifying reincarnation can forcibly pull the opponent into the spiritual space and carry out one by one terrifying reincarnation. The only way to break it is to forcibly break the reincarnation. Otherwise, you can only sink in the terrifying reincarnation, and you will never be able to break free. The magic and terrifying reincarnation is not a pupil technique, but an illusion of the seal, but Xianchen can also be released through the Tensikan. According to Xianchen's estimation, this ninjutsu may have a certain bonus for women. It is definitely second only to Infinite Moon Reading and Bishan God's Illusion. Uchiha Kairon's writing wheel is turning faster, and it has begun to connect. Finally, the three-goose jade writing wheel is successfully connected. The pattern began to change, and finally turned into a wind demon shuriken, which was somewhat similar to Uchiha Shizui's kaleidoscope. Although the kaleidoscope was opened, Uchiha Kaito still did not break through the illusion. Looking at the kaleidoscope shaker, Xianchen smiled indifferently, then reached out his hands expressionlessly to dig out his eyes, and then put them away. After digging out his eyes, a flame enveloped Kaito Uchiha, burning him to a mass of ashes, and he couldn't break free from the illusion until he died. Although it was the first time to kill someone, Xianchen did not feel the slightest discomfort, and it felt no different from when he was hunting in the back mountain. Since he came to this world, Xianchen has recognized everything, and he was ready to kill from the very beginning. So he can gouge out Uchiha Kaito's eyes without discoloration, and burn him to ashes. Although it all seems to be very long, in fact, Only 10 minutes have passed. It's time to leave. Konoha's people definitely sensed such a big movement. If you don't leave, it will be too late. But even if you leave, you have to destroy the scene. Land's feet are even with blades. Using the levitating ability of the glittering fruit, Xianchen kicked out countless tiny vacuum blades, causing the surrounding earth and trees to be chopped messily. Then activate the ability of the glittering fruit. Hyuga Tatsu turned into a light and came to Mikoto's side. It's settled. Let's go. Yeah. Mikoto nodded, and didn't ask how it was resolved. No matter how Xianchen resolved it, she would support her. This is Mikoto. With the other hand that was not stained with blood, he pulled Mikoto's hand, and then used space teleportation to take Mikoto out of here and appear 10 kilometers away. Before arriving at a small stream, Xianchen began to clean up the blood on his hands, which was contaminated by gouging his eyes. After washing it, Xianchen checked the chakra of his body. At this time, Xianchen's chakra had been consumed by more than half. Most of them are consumed in the space transfer ability. With Uchiha Mikoto, the consumption of chakra is not a problem of doubling, and it is directly teleported 10 kilometers. Chen, aren't you hurt? Mikoto came over and asked with concern. It's okay. Don't worry, Mikoto. Chen smiled at Mikoto and said. Mikoto was still a little worried. She walked up to Chen, then looked at it carefully, and even reached out to touch it, and she breathed a sigh of relief after a long time. At this time, Mikoto realized what she had done. Her face turned red, and she didn't dare to look at Chen. I'm going to cook. After saying that, Mikoto ran away with a red face. By the way, Mikoto, do you know who Uchiha's person just now has relatives? For example, a younger brother or an older brother? Chen walked up and asked. Mikoto looked at Chen in confusion, and then said, you mean Kaito Uchiha? Mikoto thought for a while, then shook her head. Uchiha Kaito has no relatives. His parents are dead. Why are you asking this, Chen? Nothing, just a casual question. To be honest, Xianchen is a little disappointed. If he has relatives, Xianchen may consider getting a pair of eternal eye kaleidoscopes. But who made Uchiha's parents ineffective? One of Uchiha Kaito was born, and they died. Otherwise, Xianchen will even think of his parents' ideas. Xianchen is not a good person, on the contrary, he is bad and smoking. Chapter 33 Danzo, this pot is mine. Don't grab it. How is it? Have you found it out? 3 generations of Hokage asked indifferently, holding a bong. The 3 generations of this period were still in their prime, and their aura was convincing, and they were simply 2 people from the 3 generations of old men in the future. No. Just found a pile of ashes, but here is a piece of clothing. The imprint on it seems to be the family emblem of the Uchiha family. A man from Anbu took a piece of clothing and handed it to Hizen Sarutobi. Sarutobi Hizen reached out and took it, then looked at Uchiha who was standing still. I don't know Patriarch Uchiha, can you recognize this? This is indeed our Uchiha family, but I don't know who it is. Uchiha shook his head. He really didn't know who it was. You check your Uchiha family. Who is missing or injured? I hope it has nothing to do with your Uchiha family. Sarutobi Hizen said coldly. Hey, our Uchiha family is proficient in fire and thunder. The signs here are obviously caused by wind. Maybe someone killed our Uchiha family. Uchiha's expression also turned cold. He felt that the ashes should belong to their Uchiha family. Let's wait until it's found out. In addition, Anbu is trying his best to search for suspicious people in Konoha, to prevent other villages from coming to our Konoha to make trouble. Sarutobi Hizen ordered. After some orders, the patriarchs of the major families who heard the news all left, leaving Hizen Sarutobi standing here. Hey, Danzo, did you do this? This is not only the suspicion of Hizen Sarutobi, but the suspicion of everyone who knows Danzo. But no one has said it. This kind of look is caused by Feng Dun, and what they can suspect is Danzo, although Konoha knows a lot of Feng Dun. But what they can think of that can cause so much damage as to hide one person in a group. The most important thing is that the clothes fragments of the Uchiha clan were also found here, and Danzo and the Uchiha clan are notoriously insensitive. So after what happened, in their minds, Danzo was upset with the Uchiha family and killed him. It is absolutely possible for a mad dog like Danzo to do such a thing. However, Danzo has a lot of power. Unless there is absolute evidence, they will never say it and offend Danzo. Bang! What did you say? Uchiha Kaito is gone. Uchiha slammed the table, stood up suddenly, and said angrily. Yes, we didn't find Uchiha Kaito. Danzo, it must be the old dog Danzo. This guy has long been dissatisfied with our Uchiha family, and he is suppressing our Uchiha family everywhere. He definitely did this, and the traces on the scene can never be faked. Uchiha clenched his teeth bitterly. If the dead is a weak family ninja, that's fine, but Uchiha Kaito is the backbone of their family. This matter can't be ignored. Shimura Danzo, you wait for me. Under the anger, Uchiha's 3 Gujade writing wheel eyes were exposed. Patriarch, that kid Xianchen, and that traitor Uchiha Mikoto, do you still want it? Ignore them for now. You go down first. I'm going to find Hizen Sarutobi and ask for an explanation. Uchiha didn't even call Hokage. he just called Sarutobi Hizen's name to Boo. Leaving the Uchiha family, Uchiha came to the Hokage building angrily. After a dispute, the two sides parted ways. After Uchiha's departure, Sarutobi Hizen sighed, with a trace of sadness on his face. Danzo, you've done me a favor. Just now, Uchiha asked Sarutobi Hiruzen to hand over Danzo, but he naturally disagreed with Danzo compared to Sarutobi Hiruzen, who is close to his father, and the two sides were arguing endlessly. In the end, Sarutobi Hizen paid some price and allowed the Uchiha family to take charge of an Anbu team before Uchiha left. Although Uchiha was still dissatisfied, seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen's non-negotiable posture, he could only hold his nose to take these petty profits. This time the matter has ended. This guy, Danzo, took the blame for Xianqian. For this reason, Sarutobi Hizen also warned Danzo to be quiet recently, and he did not look at Danzo with a very dark face after that. Check it out for me. I'm going to see who it is, who dares to put the blame on this old man. Danzo growled. He was dignified and assisted by Hokage, and the most powerful figure in the entire Konoha village, except for Sarutobi Hizen, actually had someone put a pot on his head. Danzo couldn't stand it. But even if he turned over the entire Konoha, he couldn't find it, because no one would look at Xianqian with suspicion. Even Uchiha he never doubted Xianqian, for no reason, just because of Xianqian's age. According to common sense, if a child over 5 years old wants to kill the elite Jonin, it is simply a fantasy. Even if Zuning wants to kill the elite Jonin, it is very difficult. The only person who can quickly solve the elite Jonin can be the shadow level, and a little kid. Can it be the shadow level? They didn't know at all that Xianqian was originally a hang-up, and he was already a shinobi at a young age, and the challenge of leapfrogging was as simple as drinking water and eating. In this way, Danzo took the blame for Xianqian, and also made the relationship between the Uchiha family and Konoha worse. Anyway, the current Uchiha family just thinks that Konoha doesn't treat them as human beings, which makes their hearts half cold. Xianqian didn't care about this. He originally wanted to put the blame on Danzang, although Danzang didn't provoke him. But Xianqian just saw that he was upset and added to him. After having a picnic with Mikoto, we went back home. After returning, it was already evening. Mikoto went to prepare dinner, and after Xianqian came back, she locked herself in the room. Take out the two writing wheels in the physiological saline. The two writing wheels at this time have changed back to the state of 3 hooks. I don't know what kind of ability these two-wheel writing eyes have, but I don't seem to be of any use holding them. To others, the kaleidoscope is a great temptation, but to Xianqian, it is not even a tasteless rib. He who has Tensogun, let alone a kaleidoscope, is an eternal kaleidoscope, and he doesn't take it seriously. Twilight Eye has the ability to manipulate puppets, which may come in handy in the future. Xianqian will not forget the ability of Tensogun to manipulate puppets. This ability can make the puppet master of Sandian village cry and can't find. The ability of this pair of kaleidoscopes still makes Xianqian very curious, because there is basically no pair of kaleidoscopes, and the abilities are different, and even some extremely abnormal pupil techniques will appear. Chapter 34, Water Escape, The Art of Spitting? Among the pupils born in the kaleidoscope, the most perverted ones are Uchiha Shizui and Obito. One can change the will of others, and the other has space ability, which is very perverted. I don't know if I can know the ability of these kaleidoscopes through the system. Xianqian thought of it and did it, and immediately came to the system space. Then I didn't call the system, I opened my own attribute panel, and in the equipment column, I found the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye. Sure enough, I didn't expect it to be classified as equipment. But yes, the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye is indeed not my ability. Click on the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, and then at the bottom corner, find a line of very small fonts. If you don't look carefully, you can't see it at all. This was also discovered by Xianqian by accident, and this line of small print is System Introduction. Xianqian didn't know why the system made these 4 words so small, if it wasn't for Xianqian's good eyes. When I saw these 4 words by accident, I really didn't know that the system had this ability. After clicking on the System Introduction, a line of fonts appears, which shows the ability introduction of this pair of kaleidoscopes. One of them was Amaterasu. Seeing this pupil technique, Xianqian wanted to complain. This pupil technique is very high, and it is known as the strongest physical attack and the attack that cannot be avoided. But the record is a bit scary. One person did not kill, it was very embarrassing, and it was a disgrace to the name. The other one is great. Illusory body, it can be divided into an undetectable phantom body. The phantom body has 80% of the strength of the main body, and can be interchanged with the main body in battle. This can be said to be a magical skill. The only disadvantage is that the chakra consumed is too large. Once the chakra is exhausted, the phantom body will disappear. After reading it, Xianqian left the system space, and Mikoto was about to cook. If she didn't go out, Mikoto would be in a hurry. After eating, Mikoto went back to her room to practice under Xianqian's stunned gaze. Although Mikoto works very hard, she won't work so hard. Xianqian said stunned. Naturally, he didn't know that when he saw his powerful figure before, Mikoto was stimulated and wanted to practice hard and follow in his footsteps. Mikoto's talent is very good. She has already opened the writing wheel, and it was opened more than a year ago, and she only knows about Rixyanchen. I heard Mikoto say that her shackles were opened when her grandfather died. After hearing it at the time, although I was a little shocked that Mikoto opened her eyes early, she could understand that the death of her only relative was definitely not a small blow to Mikoto. Under the mental fluctuations, plus Mikoto's talent is good, it is not impossible to open the writing wheel. In the past, Mikoto would chat with him, but now that Mikoto went to practice, Rixyanchen was sitting dry, and it was a bit boring, so she just went to practice. Now that Rixyanchen is cultivating, he no longer has to work hard to exercise his body, relying on the gravitational force of Tensikan. Directly strengthening the gravitational force of the ground to face oneself can effectively and quickly improve physical fitness, and it is also an all-round improvement, including the fragile internal organs of the body. The practice of ninjutsu is basically handed over to the shadow clone, and Rixyanchen doesn't have many ninjutsu, and he has already learned all of them. Tensikan's pupil ability does not require Rixyanchen to exercise, as long as chakra is enough. What Rixyanchen needs to practice now is the domineering of the armed, the domineering of the knowledge, the refining of chakra, the glittering fruit, and the swordsmanship. When practicing swordsmanship, you can also exercise your body and improve your physical fitness, which can be regarded as killing two birds with one stone. Glittering fruit needs to improve the cohesion of light and increase its power, which is also more troublesome. Rixyanchen is going to put it aside first. This is also the only downside of having so many abilities. There is so much that needs to be cultivated. If it wasn't for Rixyanchen's talent, it would have been impossible for him to be a fellow practitioner with so many abilities. After 2 days of vacation, the school started again. In the school, if the lessons in the morning were not useful, Rixyanchen chose to refine chakra. In the afternoon, Rixyanchen usually walks to the side alone, waving the specially made short knife slowly. There is no way. Rixyanchen also wants to swing Li Yuren Huo, but he is not tall enough to forcibly wave Li Yuren Huo, which is too funny. I said, Chen, your sword swing is too slow. Even an ordinary person can easily dodge it. It's useless at all. I really don't know why you insist on swinging the sword every day. Ha ha. You don't understand, Shengshu, Rixyanchen said with a smile. The reason why he swung the knife slowly was because his body was under great gravity. If Rixyanchen retracted the gravity, Shengshu wouldn't even be able to see his swing. What I don't understand, it's mysterious. Tell you, I have learned ninjutsu now, and I can use it. Nawaki said proudly. What? Roshu actually learned ninjutsu? As expected of the Kainzu family, it's really powerful. Nawaki's voice was not concealed, causing the people around him to look at Nawaki in shock. Oh? What ninjutsu? Rixyanchen asked curiously. Look at my demonstration to you. This ninjutsu is very powerful. You all stay away. Seeing the amazement of many classmates, Shengshu's desire to be in the limelight emerged. Nawaki, ninjutsu is not allowed in the school. Nara Shikaka poured cold water on Nawaki. It's okay, I'm watching here now. Use the Nawaki. Just let the teacher see it. Wayne Oshiri came over. Nawaki, who thought he couldn't pretend to be forced, suddenly became excited. This was a good opportunity for him to show off his skills and make a blockbuster. Walking to the front, Nawaki made a seal with both hands, but the speed of the seal was really uncomplimentable, and it was called a turtle speed seal. Water escape, water chaos. The stream of water spewed out of the Nawaki's mouth, but a black line was drawn across the forehead of the people who were looking forward to it. The Nawaki is indeed used, but this water flow is too small. It is estimated that it can drown the ants. Maybe even ants can't drown. Shengshu, are you sure you are not using the legendary water escape and spit technique? Rixyanchen asked suspiciously. Ueno-sensei, are we going to use this kind of ninjutsu in the future? Can this kind of ninjutsu hit people? Nawaki's face turned red. If there was a mouse hole, he would definitely go down, which was really embarrassing. I didn't use it well this time. Look at me again. I succeeded yesterday. Rouge defended, and then hurriedly used ninjutsu again. But the more panicked, the more mistakes it made. This time Nawaki didn't even spit out a sip of water. It wasn't as good as the previous one. Chapter 35 Wasting Talent. The onlookers were even more disappointed, and did not see the effect they wanted at all. Cough cough. Ueno-shiri coughed twice, and then said, Shengshu, you are not proficient in this ninjutsu, so this is why this happens. Don't be discouraged. In fact, you are already very powerful. As long as you practice more, you will definitely be able to use this ninjutsu. The teacher believes in you. Ueno-shiri encouraged Nawaki. Yes, Nawaki, you are already very strong, and you can use ninjutsu. Although it is a bit low, you can only drown ants, but I think you can consider switching to ant killer. Rixyanchen also followed with encouragement. Chen. Are you praising me or demeaning me? Shengshu was extremely angry. Rixyanchen looked at him with the eyes of a fool. I can't see it. Of course I'm belittling you. You said that this ninjutsu you released can be praised? Shengshu was at a loss for words, and forcibly defended. It's just that I didn't play well. I released it yesterday, and my sister came to see it. If you don't believe me, ask my sister. Do you ask them if they believe it? Xianchen pointed at the crowd. I believe in you, Nawaki. Yamanaka Heiya came over and patted Nawaki on the shoulder. Really? Thank you so much, Heiya. Shengshu was so excited that she saw that someone believed in herself, and she was so excited that she was about to cry. I believe you will never let it go. After speaking, he ignored the petrified Nawaki and left with a wicked smile. Damn. You all wait for me, and I will definitely prove it to you. I will become a Hokage in the future. I only have a ninjutsu, and I will be able to release it perfectly in a few days. Nawaki said something vicious, and ran to the side to get sullen. Everyone smiled and didn't say anything. They understood Shengshu's character, and it was estimated that they would put this matter down soon. To put it bluntly, it was a big nerve. Chen, let's have a fight. Minato Namiko smiled and invited Xianchen. Hey, I said Shuman, you won't be flooded with water. That guy Chen's strength is so powerful, you will definitely be punched into the hospital with your small body. Before Xianchen could say anything, Nawaki, who was sulking alone, jumped up and looked at Namikaze Minato with the eyes of a fool. That's right, Minato. Although you are recognized as a genius in our class, but Wainoshiri stopped his words. He was afraid that the next words would come out and hurt Minato Namikaze's confidence. In fact, although Minato has a good talent, in the entire class, in terms of strength, he is definitely below the top 10. Because Minato was born in a commoner family, and his parents were not ninjas, he was born later than the big family. Although Minato's talent is good, there is really no comparison between Minato, who has only cultivated for more than half a year, and a family student who has cultivated a year ahead of Minato and has all kinds of resources. Maybe Watergate can surpass them in a year or two, but there is definitely a gap now. Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Mikoto are the two most worry-free students in Wainoshiri, and they are very talented. Wainoshiri doesn't want him to be knocked down because of the blow. Forget it, Minato, you go to Nawaki. Both of you are aiming for Hokage. Wouldn't it be better to learn from each other together? Xianchen shook his head. It is undeniable that Minato will be strong in the future, but that is the future. The current Minato is so weak that Xianchen doesn't even have the heart to abuse vegetables. That's right. Do you want us to learn from each other? Shengshu looked at the water gate in high spirits. Roshu's gaze made Minato embarrassed to refuse, and he originally wanted to see his own strength, so he readily agreed. Be careful, don't get hurt, let alone hurt your peace. Wainoshiri had no objection to the two of them, but he also reminded him. And you, the teacher really doesn't understand, what's the use of cultivating like this? You're just messing around and wasting your talent. After turning his head, Wainoshiri scolded Xianchen. He had told Xianchen several times, but Xianchen never listened to him. He is obviously born with divine power, but he doesn't exercise well, but instead he is here to grind foreign workers. This is Xianchen in the eyes of Wainoshiri. Xianchen smiled unmoved, and then continued to repeat the slow swing of the knife. His swordsmanship is fast, and now it seems very slow under the strong gravity, but once it is released, it will be earth-shattering. When Liu Renyu was obtained, all of Liu Renyu abilities, including the strokes that old man Yamamoto could release without releasing Zanpei Kuto, were all acquired by Xianchen. Although Xianchen's swordsmanship may be a little immature in Pirate World and Death God World, but in Naruto World, where swordsmanship is not too strong, it is already standing at the top. When it comes to swordsmanship in the Naruto World, even Hatake Tsukumoko no Shirato may not be able to compare to Xianchen. Hokage's swordsmanship, that is, relying on chakra, broke out stronger in an instant, and other skills were a bit poor. Of course, this is also Xianchen's own understanding. He has not really seen Hokage's swordsmanship, so it is not easy to evaluate. After all, there is also a country of iron that relies on swordsmanship to eat. Who knows if there is no hidden swordsman in the country of iron? After cultivating for 2 hours, Xianchen stopped, and if he continued to practice, his body could no longer bear it. Quickly put away the gravity, and then wiped the sweat from his forehead. The place where he trained, the extremely solid ground, dropped slightly. Looking at the training ground next to her, Mikoto was refining chakra alone in the corner, and a group of people gathered around not far away, watching the competition in the field. Of course, it's not Nawaki and Watergate, but Ikuto Dingza and Uchiha Ken. Although Uchiha Takeshi is not in harmony with the classmates in the class, as long as the get out of class is over, he will leave alone. But now it is class time, so he is naturally here too. When I saw Nawaki beating Minato very forcefully before, I couldn't hold back the eagerness to act forcefully. So he went up to challenge Nawaki, who had just defeated Watergate. Nawaki was not to be outdone, and then consumed a lot of Nawaki, and naturally he failed unexpectedly. Then Uchiha Ken was very arrogant and challenged several classmates in a row, hitting them with bruises on their noses and faces. Even Hyuga Rizai was defeated by Uchiha Ken's arrogant fireball technique, because he used ninjutsu to make him even more limelight and even more arrogant. His attitude naturally made everyone dissatisfied. If there was no Xianchen, the good-looking Uchiha Ken might have a group of nympho, But now you can tell by looking at the angry eyes of the whole class. This kind of arrogant and defiant character, if the appearance does not have an overwhelming advantage, who would like such a person? If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.